The Honda 4th of July sales event has brilliant deals on our most popular vehicles, like the Civic, Fit, and Pilot. It's a reason to celebrate across the country, from the Liberty Bell to Hollywood, and even back up to Niagara Falls. So come discover the 2018 KBB.com Best Overall Brand during the Honda 4th of July sales event, now at your Honda dealer.
Based on 2018 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit KBB.com for more information.
This is No BS Job Search Advice Radio, episode 1153. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome. This show was originally recorded in 2015, I believe, and the format of the show was a 15-minute monologue that I would do about some element of job hunting. I would record on Monday morning at 9 a.m. after a commute to New York. It was a different time and a different style to the show. And today's is about not buying the BS. I've cut the original introduction and I cut mid-sentence at the end of the show where I would start going into a plug about an audio product I had available at that time. And, I'll just simply say the middle that I've left in is a longer show because, again, it's an excerpt from a 15-minute podcast. Actually, it was originally done as a video, and I simulcast it through a Google Hangout at that time. So I hope you find this helpful. I hope you give it a great review in Apple Podcasts. And if you're interested in my coaching you, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. Mention that you listen to the show. I just like knowing I've been helpful to folks. And let us just get going, okay? Because I believe job hunting doesn't have to be hard, difficult, painful, or take so long, right? The skills needed to find a job are different than the skills needed to do a job. And in this case, we're going to talk with you about some of the BS that has been foisted upon you that too many job hunters tend to believe that interfere with your career success, that interfere with your job search and cost you money and cost you opportunity. So today's show is brought to you by Audible. If you go to audibletrial.com/The Big Game Hunter and sign up for a free trial of Audible, you'll be able to get a free audiobook as part of that trial. And I know you like audio. You listen to this podcast and my other one, Job Search Radio, right? And my other sponsor is consultingassignments.com. That's a site where you can find and fill consulting assignments, full-time consulting positions, temp to perm, and contract hire opportunities anywhere in the world, completely free. Posting a job or a resume is free. Searching jobs and resumes is also free, as is the ability to contact one another. Ain't that cool? The only thing the site will charge for is if you're going to feature a job or a resume, it is, get this, $10 for 30 days. That's it. So consultingassignments.com. So this is a show about some of the stuff that's been repeated to job hunters and professionals and even non-professionals over the course of your lifetime. And it's the kind of stuff that people believe. And unfortunately, it isn't true. So hang in there, join me for the ride, and I think you'll find some things that you're doing that are interfering with your job search and perhaps your career success. So the first thing people do is they believe that they have to stay in a job for a certain period of time. Wrong. See, when I started recruiting, the figure used to be 5 years. Before that, you were a job hopper. These days, the magic number that people are trained to think is 2 years. And as some of my readers on LinkedIn commented so eloquently in a story I told about a guy who was hired for a position, and no sooner did he join than 2 weeks later, the client canceled the opportunity, and there he is employed by a consulting firm, and he's writing white papers from home, and the firm doesn't really do the kind of work that he does. And there he is a year later, and he says, I'm hanging in there for dear life. Should I change jobs? Damn straight you change jobs. And that's 1 year. And if you're ever in a situation where your employer, backtracks on what's been committed to you, backtracks on the nature of the work, or just like this person has experienced, circumstances changed in the professional life, and suddenly they're out of luck. There's another word that precedes out of luck. Let's see if you can figure it out. So, you stay as long as is appropriate. In this economy, frankly, employers fire people left and right. Why are you supposed to put up with mistreatment? And why are you supposed to last for a particular period of time when employers have very little loyalty to you? So, stay as long as is appropriate. Don't think that there's some magic period of time. Now, you don't want to present a pattern that says, I only work at places 3 months, then 6 months, then 2 months. You get the idea. That doesn't look so good. But for the typical individual who's been with a firm for a while and suddenly is in a bad set of circumstances, change jobs. You hear me? Next thing, the expectation that you have that whenever you send out a resume, someone's going to respond to it. Now, I get resumes all day long. I took a quick look at my email this morning. It was a relatively light weekend, which is what I expect in summer in the U.S. So I walked into maybe 85 resumes. By winter, I'll be walking into over 200 again. It's just the way it is. And if you think I'm going to respond to all 85 people, when the likelihood is maybe 1 or 2 will fit anything I have, why would I let someone steal my time when I'm working for my client and they're not paying me anything to write back and say, hi, your background didn't fit what I was looking for. You wasted my time, and goodbye. Why would I even take the time to set up a signature file so that it can be done automatically and waste the 7 to 10 or 15 seconds doing that? Again, it's a waste of time. Don't expect that everyone's going to get back to you. Another thing that job hunters do that is absolutely bizarre is they treat recruiters like the enemy. Now, before you start going, what? What? Even the least experienced recruiter, even the one that I would say is a moron, is representing an organization that's trying to fill a position and presenting you with an opportunity. You can respond by saying, that isn't quite what I'm looking for. And when they go, what, this is a great opportunity with a terrific firm, you really got to see them. You can respond by saying, listen to me, this isn't something I want to look into. It doesn't fit what I'm looking for. The money is way off. But you can't tell unless you talk to them. I can tell. I listen to you. It doesn't fit what I'm looking for. Now, if you have something else, I'm happy to hear about it. But this is the way it is with this job. Am I being clear? Okay. So, that's the most junior or obnoxious recruiter on the planet. And if you just take recruiters at face value and think that every recruiter's all recruiters are all alike, you're being obnoxious. It's like saying all people of this ethnic background, of this race, are all alike. Start learning discernment. Have you figured out my beard is gray? I've done this for more than 40 years. I filled 1,200 plus positions, plus consulting firms, consulting assignments. Maybe I might be a little bit different than most. And there are other people out there who would say the same thing and be right. So start learning to tell the difference between recruiters and just don't blanket them. And if you feel like jumping off at this moment, go away. It's okay. You're making a mistake, missing out on some of these other things I'm going to point out. But because you're so annoyed at recruiters, the problem's you. It's not them. They just do what they do. So that's where it starts off with. Next, you send resumes into the applicant tracking system. Why? You know better. Why do you send? Because the thing says apply to the applicant tracking system. Well, why? Why do you have to do that? Can't you use your connections on LinkedIn to circumvent the system and reach out to the hiring manager to do a little homework? This is so much easier. Yeah, it's easier, but it doesn't work well. Better to get to the hiring manager and circumvent the system. And if the hiring manager says, I need you to apply through the applicant tracking system, you go, sure, no problem. I can do that. But I just want to make sure you have an idea of my background to see if it fits, because no disrespect to your organization, you got to understand what it's like applying through that system and manually filling out so many fields. So, avoid the applicant tracking system like the plague. Really that simple. Next, if you apply to a position, don't just send your LinkedIn profile when you apply, which is a variation on don't just submit the same generic resume over and over again as though every job is the same. It obviously isn't, and neither your generic resume or your LinkedIn profile is customized to demonstrate the fit. But I have the background, not getting phone calls. Well, obviously you aren't, because your profile and or resume doesn't know or doesn't communicate everything that you know that relates to what this firm is looking for. You need to submit a tailored resume if you're going to submit a resume for a job. So tailor it and don't just send your LinkedIn profile. Even if you have a resume on Monster or some other place that allows you to auto-submit, don't. You have to tailor your resume. But if they think I might have the background, they should call me. Like, we have time to do this. And corporate recruiters have little time as well. Like, you think they're sitting around, drinking coffee all day. They've got meetings galore where they're talking about hiring managers, they're screening individuals, they're trying to onboard people. They're not waiting for your generic resume, and saying, hey, maybe, even though it doesn't say it, I should call them. No, they don't do that. So that's like, it's just foolish to expect them to figure out that you might fit the resume. You got to pretend they're like a 6-year-old with ADD. They're just too busy. They're bouncing off the walls. They got a work schedule. Make the fit obvious. Now, here's another one, and this one I read on a website recently, it's what gave me the idea for the show, and that is, when they interview me, my enthusiasm and passion will win the day. No, your qualifications will, and how you interview will. So you need to learn how to interview, and it's not just like sitting there going, okay, let me ask some questions. It's going to be like a tennis match where it's a backhand here, a forehand there, a volley at the net. No, there are rules to interviewing. If you don't understand what they are, visit my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, here are a few ways to engage with me. First of all, I just want to start by saying that I no longer do recruiting. I coach people to perform at a high level. So again, I no longer do recruiting. But if you visit my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us, and look at the tabs on the top, you'll see a menu of choices available to you. First of all, you can hire me to do a resume and or LinkedIn profile critique, interview preparation, help you with a salary negotiation, answer your questions about your job search, advise you about a decision you have to make about a job offer. Those are all there as an option. I can do a job search makeover with you, where we critique everything you've been doing in your search up until that point and come up with alternatives. If you're relatively early in your search, we can do a complete coaching program where I work with you from beginning to end in half-hour increments, so it doesn't have to take a lot of time for each session. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. mention that you listen to the show because I love hearing from folks who like it and are interested in my help. Again, linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. You can take my classes on Skillshare too and become a premium member for 99 cents for the first few months. I have a link in the show notes. Just follow that link, sign up, take my classes. Lastly, I want to mention to you, you can find a lot of information at thebiggamehunter.us, and at times it may seem like it's too much. So you can look at the best of my material at jobsearchcoachinghq.com, where I've curated information that you can watch, listen to, or read to help you find work more quickly. Again, that's jobsearchcoachinghq.com. I'll be back tomorrow with more, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Take care.
The Honda 4th of July sales event has brilliant deals on our most popular vehicles, like the Civic, Fit, and Pilot. It's a reason to celebrate across the country, from the Liberty Bell to Hollywood, and even back up to Niagara Falls. So come discover the 2018 KBB.com Best Overall Brand during the Honda 4th of July sales event, now at your Honda dealer.
Based on 2018 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit KBB.com for more information.
The Honda 4th of July sales event has brilliant deals on our most popular vehicles, like the Civic, Fit, and Pilot. It's a reason to celebrate across the country, from the Liberty Bell to Hollywood, and even back up to Niagara Falls. So come discover the 2018 KBB.com Best Overall Brand during the Honda 4th of July sales event, now at your Honda dealer.
Based on 2018 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit KBB.com for more information.